would like to introduce you our hosts today, Elena and Thomas. And now I give the word over to you guys. Tell us everything we need to know about seasonality. I'm excited to hear.
All right, then, hi everyone and welcome from my side. I'm Elena and super excited to be here today talking about the topic of seasonality. I think the ones who have joined already a few minutes before, where we were discussing about how much we like the upcoming holiday season and so on, I think you could feel a bit that I'm kind of also that kind of person who really likes the whole topic around holidays and also kind of leverage it in my personal life, but of course also in the app marketing world, working closely with clients together, trying to leverage it throughout the whole app marketing funnel, so to say. So super excited to be here today together with Thomas, to whom I would give over the floor now to introduce himself.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, first of all, Rebecca, for the introduction and also for hosting today's session. Also, thank you very much for the handover, Elena. Nice to be here today again in a webinar and to be talking about seasonality. And also at the end, I will be reviewing 3 apps live within this show. So we're going to check out how good are those apps that we selected from the submissions are already optimized for seasonality. And we will be talking to some potential tips, also what can be done more. And last but not least, at the end, for all of you guys, we also prepared a cheat sheet. So therefore, it's very important that you stay until the end, that you get our cheat sheet.
Exactly. Yeah, that brings me actually in a nutshell. What we'll be talking about was kind of covered already. We will start with what is seasonality, diving into the topic of what is important here. We have some hands-on tips prepared for you on how you can prepare for the holidays. And as Thomas teased already, in the end, there will be the 3 lucky winners that Thomas will review live. And then we also have, as teased, the cheat sheet in the end to round up that and so that you can get started with the topic in case you have already prepared for it or you want to start preparing for it. All right, so let's dive into the topic of what seasonality is and why actually we want to talk about it and we want to highlight it, what is so important about it. Well, I would say it's as simple as that. The user behavior changes based on different seasons. And it's changing how people search for different things now in the upcoming Christmas season, in the upcoming Black Friday season, and all the different events that are happening. But then it's not only on the one hand, we have the users that have a changed behavior, but on the other hand, of course, also it depends how well do you reflect those changed behavior within your app, within your whole user funnel, so to say. Do you have reflected those within your store listing, within your app itself? Do you have any specific content around Christmas now? So really trying to leverage seasonality when you think then of the whole flow of a user can really be a great way to improve the whole visibility in the store, and in the end also make the users convert in the app stores because you fit to their current changed behavior. And what I quickly want to differentiate here is also the types of seasonality, because there is sometimes coming a bit of confusion around when we talk about seasonality. And there is, I would say, the holiday specific, category specific, and app specific seasonality that we can observe within the stores. The basic level of seasonality, so to say, is the holiday specific one that we are about to experience now with the upcoming Christmas season. And here really going into the topic of how well you leverage those whole Christmas things or now the Black Friday in your app. The other one would be the category specific. And here, I would say simple example would be sports category. If you think of the sports category here, it might matter specifically for a sports app if there is, for example, the NFL season or anything around that you could leverage specifically in that category. Another example here for the category specific one would be actually a bit of an overlap with the holiday specific one, would be if we think about New Year's Eve. New Year for health and fitness app, for example, is like one of the high seasons usually. At least we work closely also with a lot of apps in that category. One of our customers is a calorie counter app who would usually experience with the new year always a boost in traffic. That can be kind of people trying to, they have like new goals, they have ambitious goals to lose weight, to get more fit within the new season. So usually that can be seen then also in the traffic. And then, I mean, imagine you specifically optimize for that. You notice that you have a traffic boost here, and you also, coming back to the explanation, the user behavior changed. So you also experience more traffic, but how more can you get out of it if you really reflect it and also within the content that you are offering within your app. And the last one would be the app specific. That one would be an easy example here, I think, is Netflix app or any other streaming app that would have, for example, let's say on Netflix, there is a new TV show, a new series that they offer within the app as like kind of based part of the in-app experience. And now they also reflected that app-specific seasonality, so to say, within their whole store listing. So they have, let's say, in their screenshots, they have that new TV show on the first screenshot. The user is looking for that, and in the end, he will download and will also have it in the end. That's, I think, also a really cool example here. All right, let's take a look on how the holiday season is looking in the app stores itself. And yeah, of course, here the shopping apps as examples are optimizing now specifically for the upcoming Black Friday. As you can see here, two examples, one of Suful and AliExpress, the shopping apps. They are kind of leveraging it across the whole store listing. They have very nice optimized screenshots. They have then their metadata, as you can see here for AliExpress, they have included in the subtitle also Black Friday, whereas both of them also kind of leverage it even in their icon. So here I would say cool examples, what comes up if you search for Black Friday at the moment. Another thing that I want to was jumping into my eyes was everything around on Apple in-app events. That was launched end of October as a new feature alongside iOS 15 features that we have hardly waited for. Is here, for example, the Christmas countdown app is making nice use of it with a Christmas calendar countdown. And I think that's also a really great way of how to leverage seasonality within the store. And then, yeah, also other great examples across games, for example, where they really optimize also the whole funnel that we will see on one of my next slides as well. Where they have like here the store listing as well as the app icon, everything around Christmas, and already kind of live with that. Yeah, here coming back to my example from before, that would be now going into the direction of a fitness app. I just found it interesting to show you guys also how you can actually in the end find it out by kind of trying to look at how maybe other apps also optimized their apps in the previous season. And this is an example of one of the previous seasons of how Sweet, the fitness app, optimized their long description. They changed their long description specifically for New Year. And as I teased before, trying to really leverage that traffic boost that they get with the New Year resolutions. They kind of optimized for specific New Year keywords within their long description. It's an example from Operator's timeline, and it's really a nice way to see for which keywords specific apps optimized. And here I have like an ultimate example that I really liked also, how the seasonal whole user journey could look like. So really trying to think it through from the perspective how the user goes through and how he will in the end also land in your store listing, and ideally then really convert within your store listing and then stay also in the app because you offer him what you promised, so to say. And here we have the flow that the user comes, for example, from an Instagram ad where they already have like everything around the Black Friday sale, really in that style. Then the user comes from that ad, from the external ad outside of the store, no matter, let it be in that case, it's Instagram ad, but let it be a TikTok ad, Snapchat, whatever. The goal is then, of course, that he comes into your store listing And in that case, I think it's a very well example, because I, as a user, I come from the ad that tells me, hey, there is something around Black Friday. I land in the store listing and I see then again reflected the very well optimized creatives, the name and everything around Black Friday, which will in the end hopefully make the user, or I would say there are at least higher chances, if he really has that whole flow where he sees then the preview, he downloads at the end what we also want to achieve, right? And then in the app, he finally also has that experience that is really focused on Black Friday, and he will most probably then also stay, hopefully. So I think that's a really cool example of how to leverage it across the whole user journey, the seasonality, really reflecting it across the different stages of the user. Another example here is going into the game section. It's an example from Studios Mania, how they optimized for Christmas. I will not dive too much into it now because Thomas picked that app within his live app review, but I just want to give a short preview here because I think they have also done it very well in terms of how they appear with the feature graphic across the store, which is already teasering that there is like kind of Christmas content in the app. And then they have in the store listing the preview, and in the end also really the gameplay is optimized on the features and on the content that is really focusing on Christmas mode, so to say. So a really cool example here, and Thomas will dive deeper then into reviewing it. All right. So now we have seen some examples of how holidays are happening within the stores, of how different apps are preparing for it. And I want to give you, we have prepared for you a short seasonality framework of how you can kind of use it for yourself in order to be prepared for the upcoming seasons. Yeah, I mean, first of all, as always in marketing, right, start with research. So here it's really about trying to understand your user base, and why I specifically highlight that. It's not every category, not every app's user base will have the same season. So this is like kind of the first step, trying to understand where do you have like the high seasons for your app. Whereas once you have noticed that and you know already, okay, like these are my top 3 events, those are the 3 ones that I want to optimize, then go and look, okay, hey, how are your competitors doing it? How are they maybe have done it in the previous seasons, which you can very nicely spy on. What have they done changes like last year, for example, how I showed you before the example of the fitness app, where we've seen, okay, hey, they really tried to optimize. They included New Year's keywords, the fitness app, which was a good example, and you could get ideas from that. So yeah, really trying to understand it from that perspective. And then also what I quickly want to add here is that, of course, not only on a category specific level, but also seeing it on a cultural level, because of course not every country has the same holidays, and not everyone is celebrating it the same way. So really also here the topic of localization that I want to highlight. Yeah, and then you have all done, done that great research, and you go into the planning phase. Whereas here I want to highlight 2 things. That first of all, of course, try to look at put the dates in your marketing calendar. For that, I have also on the next slide prepared you a quick overview about upcoming important holidays, that in case you haven't prepared for them yet or haven't marked them, make sure to put them in your calendar. But yeah, whereas I plan when do I want to start, it's also super important to plan the end date. And this is something that is funny that we notice like year over year, that I think there are like cool apps that they are really trying to leverage seasonality and optimize. But then in January or February, you would usually always still see some apps that are out there with a Christmas hat, or, like with things that they most probably forgot to put just out of the store. And it's just something like, it can be a small effort on your side, but it can have a big impact, like kind of how professional you the impression is then in the end for the user, because you are up to date. And another important thing here while you plan, we have seen here now, I put out some examples, or we showed you some examples on how apps optimize, for example, for Black Friday. And I just want to highlight here also for Google Play, the new Google Play policies, that were enforced with end of September and starting to get stricter and stricter around here, where they clearly say that certain keywords are forbidden. There would be also everything around officially, sale, discount, or best you're not allowed to use. So just make sure also to take care of that. We also have a nice blog article about that Rebecca, if you could share that afterwards in the chat, that would be awesome. Cool. Yeah, and then after your planning session and you're ready, you know what to do, go implement it in your store listing. And then once you've rolled it out, of course, always analyzing is super important. See the impact on your metrics, how is conversion rate performing, and then based on those learnings, further optimize and take the learnings for your next seasonal promotion. All right, here is just as teased before, the quick overview of the seasonal events that are happening, that are upcoming. Don't worry, we will share the presentation afterwards with you, so you can have them to check mark them in your calendar or cross-check them, so to say. All right, and now the time has come that I will hand over to Thomas for our live App Store listing review.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Elena, for the introduction. Now, I think we learned a lot about the theory of seasonality and also promotion within the App Store. And now let's go and check out some live examples for that. Elena, I would ask you to stop sharing, then I can take over. Perfect. Thank you. And here we go. With the first app that we're going to start is Merry Christmas 2021 Match 3. This was also the game that Elena already made a quick teaser within her presentation, and also I would say a really great example when we are talking about seasonality. On the first impression already, you can see that this game is highly optimized for the Christmas season. First of all, we see, for example, the Santa within the app icon. In the background, we see Christmas-oriented items as well as colors already. And then we go through the first screenshots. We can see it also over here, how it looks like on a mobile phone. Then we already see that kind of all of this game is really optimized for Christmas, because as you can see, there are presents in the background. There are different icons and items that you can play within the game that you need to match, and all of them are very much inspired by Christmas. So this is really, I would say, a perfect hitting kind of the seasonality topic. When we have a closer look at it, then we can see, okay, on the one hand side, it is very cool optimized now for especially Christmas as a seasonal trend. But when we look a little bit closer at it, and let me also open up a screenshot that we can check it out in more detail. One of the things that we will recognize is that those screenshots, all of them have kind of different color styles, especially when it comes to the caption, when it comes to the subtitle, which is a really great practice to bring those captions, to bring those subtitles, and also to have good inspiring messages. For example, win and have fun. I mean, that's actually not too bad, I have to say, that you have those messages on your screenshots to also motivate people to really download your app. But the problem that I'm seeing here is that when I'm trying to focus now what is happening on the screenshots, it's actually quite hard because it's so colorful. There is no kind of common line of which color should now be the background of these captions be, what should be the motive in the background. So everything is changing, a lot of different colors in an already very colorful game. So therefore, by looking at it, it is very hard to focus with my eye. What should I now look at? And this is always kind of a bit of a problem, because if we confuse people out there, if we confuse people that are interested in this case in our game, this can tend that those people will not download the game at the end of the day, because they might think, okay, I don't really get what this is. It's just an information overflow and I'm gone. So therefore, I see here we have some kind of optimization potential. Nevertheless, when I go through the description, I mean, what we can also see very good, I would say, is that the description is highly optimized for the keyword as Christmas. I would say we kind of can probably find it within every sentence here in the description. Also here, I totally understand why Studio Mania is doing this, because they want to rank for Christmas. They want to rank for Christmas game as keywords. But here it is very important to not cross the line that Google starts to think that your app is just spamming out keywords within the long description, because this in the end of the day can have a very negative effect to what you want to do, because you want to rank for those keywords. But if Google thinks that you're spamming your description with keywords, you will get penalized for it. And this means you will not reach any good rankings for those keywords. So therefore, it is very important that you use an App Store optimization tool like AppRadar that helps you to find out if you're ranking for those keywords, and that also help you to identify what is a really good density to optimize for. From my gut feeling, I would say it's a bit too much what we see over here. When we scroll down, last but not least, also very important factor when it comes to App Store optimization and when it comes to especially convincing people to download your app, is the section of app reviews. First of all, it looks good on a first impression because we have a 4.4 here on the ratings overall with nearly 2000 ratings. I would say that is quite decent and okay. But when I go now a little bit deeper, first thing that popped into my mind is that I'm seeing two very negative reviews already in the beginning, also with a lot of upvotes. This is also the reason why they are in the beginning. But here, the developer didn't respond to those negative reviews. So this also means people entering now their App Store page, seeing this, might only see the negative impressions and they think, okay, I'm not going to download. So here, a really quick tip, because this doesn't take long and can be done very easily. Also, once again, with a tool like AppRadar, you can answer to these reviews that you're getting and just show that you as the developer really care about the opinion of people downloading your app and also in this case, playing your game. And when you do so, you will also have a very positive impact on other people and will higher the conversion rates on your App Store listing. So to sum it up and to end it, if I have to give this App Store listing now points, and if we say we have a total amount of 10 points, I would give this App Store listing 8 points because they're super optimized for the Christmas season, but as mentioned, a bit too colorful, maybe a bit too spammy, and also too less reactive when it comes to answering reviews. Let's jump over to the next app, and now let's jump a bit also the genre, because what we're now looking at is Critical Ops, multiplayer first-person shooter. And kind of a disclaimer and background story, I have been playing this game really a lot when it was released initially, and I was also amongst some top rankings there, so I'm kind of into the game, I would say. But nevertheless, also when looking at the App Store listing, I would say what we will find out when we go through it, that also those guys who are actually doing a really decent job, because they have over 50 million downloads, they have over 2 million reviews that they're getting on the Google Play Store. But nevertheless, also guys like this have optimization potential. Let's check it out in more detail. So first of all, we're talking about seasonality, yeah? And what we can see here when looking just at this first impression, and also when we scroll a bit through the screenshots, we can see that there is not really any seasonal content. So this is already kind of the first optimization tip. It can maybe also be that those guys will be launching this later because we are still in November, and if they're doing a Christmas promotion or having something planned especially for Christmas or an in-app event especially for Christmas, then it can also be that they're updating it later. So maybe we'll need to check it out. But at the current stage, we can say that they're not optimizing for a seasonal event, also not, for example, for Black Friday, which could also be a good option actually to optimize your game for, especially if you have some special deals. When looking at the screenshots, one of the things that pop into my mind is the wording that we can see on the caption of those screenshots. So this one is, I would say, a quite good one because it says team up with your friends, and this is kind of a call to action already, and they know, okay, what I should do. But if we now scroll through those screenshots, then we see awesome weapon skins, which is more or less a feature description. It's not really something like that gets me going. Yeah? It just says something like, okay, that's what the game does. But if it would say, for example, unlock unique weapon skins, for example, then I would once again have a call to action there, and I would already get something that gets me going and also gets me motivated, because at the end of the day, I want to unlock awesome weapon skins. Also here, maybe seasonality once again, maybe there is a special limited offer of weapon skins only for Christmas season. So then this would be a really great tip to also mention this in the screenshots, or in-app events to also think of bringing people back to your game who already downloaded your game in the past. And once again, action-packed game modes. How many game modes do you have? Why should I care? Because I get more things to play. So tell me 6 awesome game modes where you can that you can master. And that's once again, just by how we frame those sentences, we can really build up emotions and get people going. When we go through the description on a high level, what we can see here, first of all, is also once again optimization for specific keywords that this app obviously wants to be found for. And I think they're doing quite a good job also in this regard by entering good keywords, trying to optimize for them. Once again, don't do this because you think of, okay, I just do it and I enter keywords that kind of could make sense. This is meanwhile a very professional topic, App Store optimization. So therefore, use a tool like AppRadar that can help you identifying the right keywords for your app, where you also have chances to be found for. And once again, once you optimize for those keywords, it is very important that you track those keywords and you find out how well you are ranking for these keywords. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to optimize for keywords you're not ranking for. You want to optimize for keywords that make sense for your app or for your mobile game and that also bring you players or users. And if we scroll down, I think what they're doing very well is that they're describing what you get within this game. So once again, also could be something that you can bring more to the screenshots, because there are many studies out there that only a handful of people are reading through this description. And if they read through the description, the first paragraph is the most important one. Going down to the last section, to the review section, I think you probably already know what I will be saying. Exactly the same like we had in the previous app review. Also here, there are no responses by the developer. And once again, for a game, this is really, really important, because at the end of the game, you want to build a community around your game. And the only chance that you can do this is that you as a developer show that you really care. So if I would now also rate this App Store listing with a maximum of 10 points, I would give it 7 points, because I think there is room left for improvement. Especially, I think there is a potential to improve the conversion rate. And as mentioned, today's seasonal special webinar, and there is no seasonal optimization. So therefore, we also get some minus points. And last but not least, we will be reviewing also an app that was sent to us, all-in split costs payback. In this case now on Apple App Store app, as you can see also here on the right-hand side, how the preview within the App Store looks like. On the first side, I think it is very clear what you get with this app, because you can split costs and payback. I think everybody who's already traveling with friends in the past knows exactly that problem, because you are alongside with a couple of friends. On the one hand side, they pay, you pay, then somebody else pay, and at the end of the day, you sit there and ask yourself, okay, who owes now whom how much money? And this app can help you with that. And I think alone with the title, it can make it very clear what you can get there. Especially when we also look at the screenshots. Let's move over to the iPhone screenshots. We can also see it here very well. Create events, invite friends, settle bills, all in one app. So I think this is really clear what the app is about, what you get out of it. When going through the screenshots, on the first hand side, I would say they are looking quite well optimized. But also when we look a little bit closer, one thing that pops into my mind is that on every screenshot, more or less, we see 2 screenshots, at least 2 screenshots, I would even say, because here we more or less see even 3 screenshots in some kind of way. So this means going through the screenshots now here, it is adding up to really a lot of screenshots, especially here if with highlighting also the chat functionality, which now also can tend to, once again, an information overflow, what actually for me it is causing in this stage. So if I really go through all of this, Then there is also text on top and also on the bottom. So two places where text is mentioned. I think that's good because on the one hand side, it gives you really good insights about the most important features of the app. And it can also guide users to understand what they're seeing on the screenshots. But I think it is too crowded. Yeah. So therefore, I would highly suggest to also test another version with a bit of a more minimalistic view on this. So with only one screenshot and with only one tag line on it, with only one caption. This can make things a little bit easier, once again, for the person entering the App Store, checking this out and getting an understanding what the app is about. When I go through the description, one thing that pops here into my mind is that manage any social activity and get friends together easily with all in. For me, is now I kind of get the point where this is coming from, but I wouldn't see this as the main feature, as the main value that I'm getting out of this app. So therefore, I would also highly optimize that you try to come up with one tagline. What is your app about? What is the main core thing that it does the best on the planet within the App Store? And this is the message that you have to transport to the people that are entering your App Store listing. So once again, I think in this case, at least for me, from my understanding, is to split costs. And so therefore, also in the first sentence within the description, once again, not many people will read it, but a lot of people will read at least the first paragraph within the description. So therefore, it is very important that you nail the message, what your app is about, that you have this really red line going through your app icon, ideally, your title, your first screenshot, as well as your first sentence within the description. And you will make it a lot easier for the people entering your App Store listing to understand what your app is about. And if they understand what your app is about, chances are also higher that they're going to download it. When we scroll down a little bit, what we can see, the app is quite fresh. So we have some ratings, but we don't have any reviews yet. So therefore, I cannot really comment on this. So in this case, yeah, pushing for keywords, once again, trying to identify the right keywords for this app and also trying to identify and to check if this app is ranking for the keywords. If I would now also rate this app with a maximum of 10 points, I would give it, in this case now, 6 points because I think on the first hand side, it looks very well. It looks very good optimized, that you have an understanding what the app is about. But the screenshots are a bit too crowded. There is no seasonal kind of topic around it. Once again, our specialty of today's topic, and I think maybe with Black Friday shopping tour or something like that, could be also an idea of an app like this to promote it. So therefore, 6 out of 10 points. And at this stage, I also am finished now with the app review, and I'm handing back over to Elena to show you our present.
Unmute myself. So now, thank you very much, Thomas, for the nice review, a really great insights here. And as promised, we have here now our so-called cheat sheet for your next seasonal promotion to kind of summing up what we've talked about during the first part that I was talking, and then the review that Thomas was highlighting several things. So compromised in one sheet, and to quickly sum it up, kind of when coming back to my example also for the seeing it throughout the whole user journey, I would say here it's all around the metadata, implementing the holiday related keywords, really trying to research those with an App Store optimization tool like AppRadar, for example. Then also not only within the metadata, but trying to include those holiday promotions and the seasonal content within then your creatives in the in your store listing. Let it be like some of the apps that we saw did within their screenshots, their icon, and maybe even the feature graphic and the preview video. And the other one super important thing here is that not only giving the users the preview, but then really showing that content also within your in-app experience. So here really in the app, then also offering holiday related content within your app or game, as we have seen the gameplay from the Match 3 game, for example, or the Black Friday app. And then two other things that I mentioned throughout the presentation was, on the one hand, the Apple in-app events. I think this was a really nice way, with the new iOS 15 feature to kind of try to increase visibility and user engagement through really holiday related in-app events that you're offering, as we saw within the example of, for example, the Christmas calendar, or like Thomas was suggesting, the in-app event for the Critical Ops game. That could be nice challenge or a nice thing to collect here, the weapons. And yeah, another thing that is actually kind of a quick change that you can always do is on Apple changing the promo text. You have that field. It is not indexed for keywords, but it can still be a nice way of improving your conversion rate while you teaser here your promotions that you're offering or special features that the game is offering in that specific season of the year. So we hope that this quick cheat sheet together with the seasonal dates that we mentioned and will help you to be prepared for the upcoming season that might be important for your own app as well.
So then I think that's it from us. Thank you all for joining and have a nice Tuesday evening. See you again next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Hey, everyone.